WOCA.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. You know, we have different periods of time that historians will label throughout history. There's the industrial age, and there's the Renaissance, and there's the information age is what they call today, the information age, right? And certainly there is information everywhere. But I'm just, there's part of me, I don't mean to be cynical, because I'm very, very confident that we have great students who are going to be the next great generation, I'm sure. But there is reason to pause and ask yourself if we're doing the right thing, if we need to change anything about the direction we're going in. If you think that if you're as old as I am, information was something you either had in your head or something you had to go to the library to look up, or if you were lucky enough to have a really good library at home, or even a set of encyclopedias, right? But back in those days, if you needed information, where did you go? You went to the library. What skills did you need? You needed to know how to read. You needed to know how to look things up, right?
Exactly.
Now you pull out your phone and you say, "Hey Google, what? You know, who won the Civil War?" or whatever you want to find out, right? So it is important to remember that the information is important. Having it easily accessible is important, but the best, easiest way to have it accessible is in your brain. Mm-hmm. It's the best place to have information. We have on the phone a guest who's been with us before, Mark P. Friedlander, Jr. He served in the U.S. Air Force, so we salute and thank him for that. He's an attorney. He's a member of the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. He's with the Authors Guild. He's with the Children's Book Guild of Washington, D.C. He's the founder of the Krasno Institute for Advanced Studies. And the book he wants to talk about is Leonardo da Vinci Gets a Do-Over, Innovators in Action, the Pros and Cons of STEM Education. STEM, if you don't already know, is science, technology, engineering, and math. And that sounds all well and good, but what's missing? Arts.
Exactly.
And what was Leonardo da Vinci? An artist.
Exactly.
And a scientist. And,
That's right.
and they do work together in many times. Mark Friedlander, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very fine, and I appreciate being invited back. And I've heard your recitation, and I think that you're absolutely right. It's sort of Renaissance learning is what we need to add. STEM, as you know, and as you recited, science, technology, engineering, and math, and measured that with Common Core, we're leaving out other parts of the study.
Yes, absolutely.
And so forth. And the Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci, who incidentally will be 564 years old come April 15.
Oh, wow.
So instead of paying taxes, we should all go celebrate his birthday.
That's right. That's right.
I'd prefer that. But in all events, here is a man who was not only one of the great artists of the time, because the Mona Lisa is probably the most famous painting in the world, but here he was a man who could do many, many things. He was an architect and engineer. He was self-educated in anatomy and geology, astronomy, physics, you name it, he did it.
He sure did, yeah. It's an amazing thing to look at his life, and it's an inspiration to look at his life. I was watching a piece the other day. There's I think it's in France, a place where he lived the last years of his life. And
yes, that's where he lived and died.
And then the last, in the lawn where he lived, they have these sculptures that are made out of the some of his inventions, so basically for kids to play on and to learn about, you know.
Well, he had, as anybody who studied him knows, in his drawings he had drawn many things: airplanes, automobile, bicycle, tanks, and he couldn't build them because it was they didn't have the materials.
Didn't have, yeah. He just
the skills.
he visualized it. Do you know something else I thought was interesting is one of the things he invented was the water pump, and it was this big gigantic screw. The best way I can, I'm sure there's another word for it, but that is how Holland was able to drain their land from the sea so that they could have land. That's what those windmills do.
Yeah.
He was very learned in hydrology, but he didn't study it from a book. He studied it by his observations, and was able to come up with the pump and many other items. He had even envisioned a city where the transportation was by water at the second level, and the city was on the first level. In any event, the whole idea today is that kids need to expand beyond just studying to the test, and unfortunately teachers don't have time because they must meet these criteria. Money is involved. Federal money is
Money's involved, and I believe politics is a part of the problem. It's a huge part. And I believe politicians are not teachers and don't really know what's best for the students, and the teachers are frustrated. This is my personal opinion.
Well, this is one of the focuses on my book. The whole idea is educational fiction. That is a book that is fun to read. It's a fiction book, obviously. It's time travel. When Leonardo da Vinci comes back from the 16th century to the 21st century, because all these things that he invented he couldn't build. He was ahead of his time, and the theory being he was born too soon. So he gets a do-over, a second chance to come to the 21st century. And in the story, he meets teenagers who need to help him understand the 21st century. And to meet his goal, his requirement is he must invent something for the benefit of mankind or die again.
Oh, no. Something with today's technology. Oh, no.
But embedded in the story is science, math, history, geography, all accurate, all very accurate. So it makes it a learning experience.
Was Leonardo da Vinci also an astronomer?
Yes, but he was not Galileo.
No.
He didn't have the tools. He didn't have the tools that Galileo, but there was so much going on at that time. We're coming out of the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, and he is, because he is the Renaissance man, he began the concept of scientific approach to problems, looking at the future. This is what made him so famous.
And I think what made him think was, I don't know what made him think, but I think what you're suggesting is what will make children think. If you have educational fiction, as you call it, and children see a problem, even if it's not in the real world, but in a fictional story, then their brains will think,
the slogan or the slang, or the cliche is thinking outside of the box.
Right.
Well, the whole idea is we need to charge the children's imagination. They already have an imagination, but guide it in ways where they want to go learn some more about a particular subject. And to learn about that particular subject, besides asking Mr. Google,
right, besides Google,
read some books.
Well, that is the problem. That is what I was trying to say in the intro, is that while that's a wonderful tool to have, and you just nailed it on the head when you said find some books, because if you ask Google, who invented the microphone or whatever, just to pick that at random because I'm looking at one, you're going to find one name and you're going to say, oh, there's the answer. But if you read the book about it, you're not only going to see who did it, but why he did it or she did it, and what were the circumstances around it.
If I wanted to compare it to what happens today, most people get their news from the television. And that's really touching just the tip of the iceberg. You're getting, 2 or 3 minute segments on some particular important piece of news.
Yeah.
And so they're not reading newspapers.
No, not at all. Yeah.
And then the in-depth, serious magazines. and not the magazines about Hollywood, but I'm talking about magazines
exactly.
And there's
and
there's a whole other topic there about journalism being slanted and not being true journalism as it once was, and that's a whole different topic as well. Let's take a little break, and we'll continue this conversation on the other break. This is always a fascinating topic. The book is fascinating. I remember seeing it last time you were on.
Right, and we gave it away.
The book is called Leonardo da Vinci Gets a Do-Over, Innovators in Action. Mark P. Friedlander is stretching our minds a little bit right now, making us think about these things. We'll continue thinking after this break.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Partly sunny and warm today with a stray shower near the coast. High of 83 to 88. Patchy clouds tonight, stays warm, a low of 64 to 69. And sunny to partly cloudy with a stray thunder shower in the afternoon hours tomorrow. Another warm with a high of 84 to 90. Another shower thunderstorm with some sun on Saturday and a high of 79 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
This weather brought to you by Kenny's Place Nursery. Beautiful people selling beautiful plants and flowers at beautiful prices. Give them a call, 352-867-1213 for Kenny's Place.
Stay informed on everything going on in the villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
Ocala, you can go far and wide, and I guarantee you're not going to see a better selection of top-quality azaleas at a lower price than right now at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Spend as little or as much as you like, and you can be sure you're getting nothing but the best. Bob still has hundreds of his own Aristocrat label dwarf ever-blooming red ruffles, not $6.99, just $2.99. Larger ones available too. Ever-blooming Encore azaleas is featured in Southern Living, regularly $19.99 for just $8.99. Check out the roses too, knockouts, double knockouts, drift roses, hybrid and climber tea roses, even rose trees, with prices starting as low as $12.99. Don't wait, get there while spring selections are the greatest. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens on the easy southeast side of Ocala, just east of Lake Weir Avenue and US 441. Daily till 4, Saturday till 3. Homegrown, locally owned since 1952.
All right, thank you. 12 minutes before 10 o'clock. Let's continue with this conversation. A fascinating topic. Mark P. Friedlander is on the phone. Where are you, Mark? Where do you live? Where are you calling from anyway?
I'm calling from Northern Virginia.
All right. Well, thank you for calling in and getting up early with us. So one of the things about this particular topic that I think is really dead on is the fact that this is a book for children. And we all need to be paying more because we're all falling into this Google trap. And again, not that there's anything wrong with Google, but we are getting away from books and reading things at length. And the fact that you are addressing children with this, you might be changing a whole group of people who are young enough to actually have it take hold.
Well, a number of teachers that have the book, anybody who buys the book, and it's very simple, all you do is go to Amazon and ask for Leonardo da Vinci Gets a Do-Over. But if you go to the book and look at the website for the publisher, there is a 60-page teacher's guide that pops up, and it can be printed out free, that takes every single chapter in the book and has activities and additional things that can be done to enhance the learning from the book.
So I guess we have to read the book to find out if he's successful in making the invention that keeps him alive.
Well, he either dies or succeeds. And I'm not about to tell anybody how that turns out.
And what you are doing with your book, because children are very inquisitive, they're very, very smart, and we have to make the local governments understand, like the county commissioners and the school board, that what the federal government deems as important doesn't necessarily mean what the children deem important, and they don't need to be squashed about any kind of career that they want to do by the local governments keeping knowledge out of the hands of children.
or structuring it so that they're limited in the focus of what they can do. Now, it's interesting that the book, well, it's called Young Adults, so it's for junior high and senior high students. The funny thing is that a number of adults that have read it have said to me, "Oh, I never knew those things."
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, here's just a little piece. How many people know that Leonardo da Vinci and America Vespucius grew up together as teenagers?
I did not know that. No, sure
didn't know that.
No.
But from that, you can expand out as to why, and I'm getting off on the subject, but why America Vespucius got to have his name, America, and Columbus didn't. And it's a story all in itself, and the little snippets of that story are in the book as part of the storyline because of Leonardo da Vinci's connection to America Vespucius.
What you're also doing with your book is that you have this camaraderie that's forming, because so many times people will be afraid of other people with the same interest, feeling they're going to outshine them instead of trying to work together.
And in that, for that little side piece, America Vespucius knew Columbus and he was a navigator and helped work on projects leading up to Columbus's voyage before America Vespucius decided he was going to take some voyages. Mm-hmm. But and again, this is a little side piece that explodes within just a few paragraphs within the book, and that goes on and on many, many subjects, including the mathematics behind the painting of Mona Lisa.
So what is your story? How did you become involved or interested in Leonardo da Vinci?
I was invited by the publisher, Science Naturally, to write a book for them that was fiction. They said, let's hear what the story was. But it had to have science, math, and so forth embedded in the story, because that was the focus, educational fiction. And I thought the guy that would help me most was Leonardo da Vinci.
So you went to...
I invited him to the party.
So you went to Italy in order to learn about da Vinci, or was that just a coincidence?
That happened to be... I knew about da Vinci, but when I was in Florence with my wife, suddenly I felt he was there. It was very strange. But walking through the old part of Florence, you're back in the 16th century, and it's wonderful. Well, I don't know how wonderful it would be to be back in the 16th century. I don't think it smelled very good.
No, I always thought that too. It would smell bad, and the furniture would not be comfortable. It's all made out of wood. But I think you're right. I mean, those were the people, and Da Vinci, of course, is one of the outstanding ones. But those were the people who led to the ideas that eventually changed the world that we know today.
Absolutely, all right there in Florence.
And among them was not only Da Vinci, but also Galileo, Michelangelo, and some of the contemporaries, correct?
Right. Absolutely. It was a very interesting time. And actually, Leonardo da Vinci became the great painter that he was because he had so much talent. He could paint with either hand. He was mostly left-handed. And when he would write, his notes, 4,000 pages of notes, he wrote from right to left, and you could only read it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, that is amazing
and
stuff.
And, of course, in Italian, which makes it even
yeah,
harder.
well, yeah. That would be a problem only for us, not for him. Yeah.
But he really, truly is a role model in all aspects.
Well, the idea of Renaissance learning is, I guess, another way to put it. We need to have our young people learning more than just the electronics of the day. Mm-hmm. I mean, all of that's very important. There's no question about it, the math, the science, but a broader education, which includes understanding what our history is really like.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Not the rewritten history, the real history. Mm-hmm. How exceptional our country is. because of the remarkable people who invented the Constitution.
In the book, I remember, it's been a while, but I remember you mentioned things in the book that would appeal to a child reading the book, or to a young person, things like basketball and things that they might be interested in, to hold their attention, and then you can get to the important stuff.
Well, the whole idea is you read the book, it's fun. You can read it just to enjoy a book, because there's laughter, and there's adventure, and there's tension, and of course the heroes of the book are three teenagers who actually believe that Leonardo da Vinci is who he says he is, and of course the adults and teachers say, no, that's just an actor.
They don't believe him. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, when a gentleman comes up to me and says, I was born in the 15th century, and I'm back. I said, show me your driver's license.
Yeah, really, you look a little bit like him, but we have a guy who works here at where we broadcast from who looks just like Vincent van Gogh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't.
Well, this book, I don't think so. Well, this book does demonstrate the ability of the young people to accept more things, as opposed to the ability of adults, because young people have more open minds, as far as I believe.
Well, I think that that's true, and we want the minds to be open, but we also want our young people to want to learn, to enjoy learning.
Yeah, and I think that is what you are able to do with this book. By the way, we're calling it a children's book. It is not a picture book.
No, it's not a children's book.
No, it's a young person's book.
It's a young adult. That's the category.
Yeah, young adult fiction. Yeah. Mark, give us a website so we can find the book.
Well, the easiest way to find the book is to type in go to Mr. Google, type in the name Leonardo da Vinci Gets a Do-Over, and all kind of connections come up immediately.
Well, I found it on Amazon, and I see that you got a 5-star rating right now, so that's outstanding.
Yes, we've gotten some very good reviews. If I can just tell you, the dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, of Science and Mathematics in Montclair State University, had said of the book that it was a carefully woven, well-crafted story. And the readers would wish that the American middle schoolers who befriended a hapless and ever-inquisitive Leonardo da Vinci, when he inexplicably shows up in modern-day Italy, I mean, he enjoyed it. Other people enjoyed it. Adults have enjoyed it.
The other website that was given to us is sciencenaturally.com. I just went to that website as well. Mark, thank you so much for being on the air with us today. That was fun.
Okay, and thank you for inviting me, and I hope your weather is nice.
It's beautiful. It's really nice. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Partly sunny and warm today with a stray shower near the coast. High of 83 to 88. Patchy clouds tonight, stays warm, a low of 64 to 69. And sunny to partly cloudy with a stray thunder shower in the afternoon hours tomorrow. Another warm with a high of 84 to 90. Another shower thunderstorm with some sun on Saturday and a high of 79 to 86. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Maggie Johnson.
Dr. John W. Grace, board certified in general psychiatry, will be our guest Tuesday, April 5th at 10:30 to let you know about poker-based psychotherapy and a charity event to be held April 9th. I can't wait to learn more about this exciting concept for therapy and the event. Dr. Grace was a regular on this station for quite some time, so we know the kind of professional he is, dedicated to helping the community and going the extra mile. Mark your calendar now for Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. with Dr. John W. Grace.
Be sure to tune in to Ocala's longest-running morning radio talk show.
AM Ocala Live from 7 a.m. till noon, weekdays.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
This is James Snyder, inviting you to join me each Sunday morning at 9:30 for Sunday Joy on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM.